Hey everyone, welcome to the week 4 of our posture strength training class. By now, I'm sure everybody's starting to feel some strength emerging, maybe even less back pain or neck and shoulder pain. That would be really cool. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Calgary. I just went for a walk around the pond and that really helped clear my head. So now I'm ready to get into our session. So without further ado, I'd love it if you went and laid down for me. Go ahead and just rest yourself. I'm going to talk us through a body scan and then I'll get back down on the mat with you guys and then we'll get to business after we breathe. So let's get started. I'm assuming you're on your mat now. Okay, closing your eyes and soften your face. Feel your body surrendering to gravity. Feel yourself on your mat, and if there's any subconscious tensing up of any muscles, just letting it go. You can trust your floor. You can trust the gravity. You're not going to fall off, so you don't need to be tensing anything up at the moment. And let's go ahead. Let's bring all of our focus into our tailbones. Go ahead and sense that tailbone as if your life depended on it. Also known as the coccyx, and it's the tail end of our spine. If you can't sense the tailbone itself, try to sense the space that it's inside, the surrounding areas. Good. Moving upwards. And you will find yourself sensing a triangular bone. It's the base of your spine and it's called the sacrum. It's held in place in your pelvis by a whole lot of ligaments. It's called the sacroiliac joint. Go ahead and sense that triangular bone with everything you have. Good, let's go ahead and move upward still. And we're going to move into that lumbar section of our spine. There's usually about 5 backbones on most people, although there are some people with some extras. We're all a little bit mutant-y. We've all got different things. There's generally 5 backbones, and they have this curve. We call it a lordotic curve. You notice it curves and creates a hollow that's small of the low back. It's often a sign of weak abdominals and tight or overly developed hip flexors when that curve is exaggerated. Maybe that's you. But we're working on it, aren't we? So keep focusing in that lumbar section of your spine. Backbone by backbone, moving to the base of the ribs. Once you're at the base of the ribs, starting to move upwards, and you'll notice that curve is starting to go into that other direction, creating the hollow on the other side. Backbone by backbone, moving up very slowly to the base of your neck. And those 12 bones usually are the thoracic region of the spine. And that thoracic region of the spine can become exaggerated by way of weak upper back muscles, overly developed chest muscles, an anterior head carriage, sitting a lot, everything. That that poor posture encapsulates. Anyways, settling in at that base of the spine, sensing that whole thoracic spine, settling in at that base of the neck. And then starting to move upwards again. And we're moving into our cervical section of our spine, to the base of the head rather. There's usually 7 bones, 7 vertebrae. Go ahead and sense that section, that cervical section. You'll notice that the curve in that cervical section is the same as that lumbar section. And it can become exaggerated as well with poor posture. Really focusing into that section. Bringing all of our focus now to the base of the head. Go ahead, sense that base of the head. Moving upwards still and sensing the skull. Good. Sensing the skull, the cervical, thoracic, lumbar sections of the spine, the sacrum and the tailbone, your whole spine, and your skull. Inside of your spine, the bones and the skull lives your central nervous system, your brain and your spinal cord. So we need to protect those by giving them what they need, and that's strength in the right places. Good. Let's go ahead. We're going to start to work on our breath. I'm going to get down on the mat and join you guys. All right. What are you working with? What does your breath look like having not been shaped yet? Is it short and choppy, longer smooth, deeper shallow? We're going to shape that up again. Okay, so let's first slow down the inhale and the exhale to the count of 5. So inhale at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep that count going in your head as if your life depended on it. With nice smooth transitions from inhale to exhale and exhale to inhale. One seamless action. Okay. Use that count as your anchor. When your mind drifts away, bring it right back. Keep that count going. As we inhale to the count of 5, cool air enters the nostrils to the back of the mouth, runs down the windpipe, into the chest cavity, the spine and the shoulder blades, the chest bone, the collarbones, the lower ribs, and the lobes of the lungs, and into the belly. As we exhale, the belly eases, lungs, ribs, chest, shoulders all relax. Warm air runs up the windpipe to the back of the mouth and out the nostrils. Good. If your mind is wandering away, just bring it back. Keep breathing. Breathing into the spine, shoulder blades, chest, lungs, ribs, belly. Okay, we might not always be able to count out our breaths or create the breaths as deep. But throughout the whole class, the most important thing is we don't stop breathing. We're never holding our breath, okay? We're consistently trying to breathe, even if we're not able to be as dedicated to it the way we are right now, okay? Let's go ahead and push that low back into the floor. Bend those knees so the feet are on the mat below the hips. Good. Knees to chest, chin to chest. Let's start to rock in circles, massaging that spine into the floor, stretching out that small of the low back, your chin to your chest, opening up that small of the back of your neck. All right. Let's go ahead, bring our feet back down to the mat below the hips there. Hands by our sides, palms down. Make sure that that back of the neck is long. Feet are hip width apart, relatively close to your glutes. Okay, good. All right, here we go. Keep breathing, but now we're gonna get into our work, okay? So let's push that low back into the floor. Pull that pubic bone upwards, base the ribs down, flexing the stomach. Flex that rectus abdominis muscle. Base the ribs, pubic bone, flexing the stomach. Tuck that tailbone forward and up. Keep flexing the stomach. Don't let parts go. Okay, base the ribs, pubic bone, flexing the stomach, tucking the tailbone forward and up. Lifting up our head and neck, chin retracted and tucked to the throat, retracting those shoulder blades towards the spine as if we're holding a pencil in between our shoulder blades, flexing the stomach. Good, and lowering down. Keep flexing the stomach, base, ribs, pubic bone, tucking that tailbone forward up, lifting up our heads. Again, back of the neck is long, chin slightly tucked into the throat, retracting those shoulder blades in towards the spine and down our backs. Good, and lowering down. Nice and slow. Keep that stomach engaged. Hands by our sides, palms down. All right, good. Let's lift our hips up into the air. Squeeze those glutes. Make sure your knees are hip width apart. If they're not, make them that way. And if you need to put a block in between your knees, that's a great way to make sure that those knees stay stacked above your heels, okay? Squeeze the bum, the glutes. This is all about the glutes right now. Now, One of the functions of the glutes, as I've said, is to extend that femur bone back. So pulling, I think I've said pushing before, but we're going to say pulling our knees down into our heels, heels into the floor. Good, keep going. Pull those knees downwards while you're squeezing your bum. You're bringing those hips a little bit higher if you can by squeezing the bum and pulling those knees down into the heels, heels into the floor. Pull that left one even harder, and then that right one even more. Good, and now let's start to peel that spine back down, backbone by backbone. Good. Push that low back into the floor, knees to chest, chin to chest. Rocking in circles. Good. All right. No rest for the wicked. Let's bring our feet back down to the mat below the hips. Hands by our sides, palms down, pushing that low back into the floor. Good. Engage that abdominal wall. Pull the base of the ribs down, pubic bone coming up, flexing the stomach. Flex, flex, flex that stomach. Those two bony landmarks of that muscle are being brought closer towards each other. Tucking that tailbone forward and up. Good. Continue to breathe. Flexing that stomach. Pull that base ribs, pubic bone. Tucking that tailbone. Good. Keep that tension. Lifting up our head and shoulders. Your hands can come up by your sides like I'm doing if you like. Keep flexing that stomach. Don't let that go. Retract those shoulder blades. Back of the neck long. Chin slightly tucked into the thyroid cartilage. Good. From the muscle underneath of the thyroid cartilage. Good. And lowering our head and neck. Keep that tension in your stomach. Keep flexing your stomach. Tucking that tailbone and lifting up again. Retract those shoulder blades. Back of the neck long. Chin tucked. Good. Flexing that stomach. Tucking that tailbone forward and up. Base of the ribs, pubic bone, flex, 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 and lowering back down. Good. All right, relaxing the abdominal area. Let's bring our hips back up into the air. Squeeze your glutes. Okay, we're squeezing our bums. We're pulling our knees down into our heels, heels into the floor. Squeeze the bum, pull the knees down into the heels, heels into the floor. Pull that right one even more. There we go. And then that left one even more. Squeeze the bum, flexing, 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 pulling, and starting to peel back down. Good. Backbone by backbone. Good. We're about halfway through this. Let's push our low back into the floor, knees to chest, chin to chest. Okay. Feet come back down to the mat below the hips. Push that low back into the floor, flexing the stomach, base of the ribs, pubic bone. Bring those two bony landmarks towards each other. Almost like they're both trying to get to the belly button. Push that low back into the floor, tuck that tailbone forward and up, engaging the abdominal wall, base of the ribs, pubic bone. Let's lift up our head and neck and shoulders, retract those shoulder blades into the spine and down the back, tucking that chin into the throat. Flexing that stomach, base of the ribs, pubic bone. Flexing that stomach, tucking that tailbone. Keep that tension down there while we're lowering our head and shoulders back down. Keep flexing the stomach, pulling that base of the ribs down. Let's go ahead and lift the head and neck back up again. Retract the shoulder blades. Your shoulders are up off the floor too. Back of the neck long, chin slightly tucked. Flexing that stomach. Flexing that stomach, base of the ribs, pubic bone, tuck that tailbone, and lowering back down. Keep that tension. Don't just abandon everything and drop down. Good, and relaxing. Good. Let's lift up our hips, squeezing our glutes. Good. Squeeze those glutes and pull your knees down into your heels, heels into the floor. Good. Keep squeezing the glutes, breathing, pulling those knees down into the heels, heels into the floor. Good. Squeeze that right glute even more and pull that right knee downwards. Now that left glute, left knee, both glutes, both knees, and peeling it back down. Good. Good. Push that low back into the floor. Knees to chest, chin to chest. All right. We've done 3 out of 4. Good work. Let's go for our next one. Feet back down to the mat, below the hips, hands by our sides, palms down, back of the neck is long. Push that low back into the floor. Engage that abdominal wall. Pull the base of the ribs and pubic bone towards each other, as if they're trying to meet for a conference in the belly button. Good. Keep flexing that area. Tuck that tailbone forward and up. Base of the ribs, pubic bone, flexing the stomach, tucking the tailbone forward and up. Let's go ahead and lift up our neck, head, and shoulders. Retract those shoulder blades inwards and down your back. Tucking the chin into the throat. Back of the neck is long. Keep flexing that stomach. Don't let that go. Base of the ribs, pubic bone, tucking the tailbone. Keep that tension down in your core as we lower our neck and shoulders back down. Keep flexing the stomach and then come on back up. Flex that stomach. Base of ribs, pubic bone, back of the neck long, chin slightly tucked, crown reaching up. Flex, 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 flex. Stomach, base of ribs, pubic bone, and lowering back down. Maintain that strength, lowering yourself down slowly. Good, and relaxing. All right, let's squeeze our bums, lift our hips right up. Squeeze those glutes, pulling those knees downwards into the heels, heels into the floor. I'm losing the light a little bit, but anyways. Okay, squeeze those glutes. Left knee pulls downwards. Right knee pulls downwards. Squeeze those glutes. Flex, flex, flex. Pulling those knees into the heels, heels into the floor. Good, almost there. Good, let's peel our spines back down. Backbone by backbone. Good. Nicely done. Let's push our low back into the floor, knees to chest, and chin to chest. Rocking, massaging, circles. Good. All right, good. We're gonna lengthen our feet to the bottoms of the mat. You guys are getting familiar with these. Okay, so your head onto a block. This is about the external obliques on the side. We're doing some prep work for our side abs, external obliques. Okay, that right hand reaches forward, palm facing down. Left hand on the floor in front of you. Although this is our diagnostic, like we're going to be poking to make sure that we're using the right muscles. Okay, when we get going, we are going to be doing 4 rounds. Sorry, 5 rounds, and we're going to hold it. No, 4 rounds. My apologies. We're holding it for 10 as we go up, but we're making this harder we're going to count to 5 as we bring our feet and knees up, holding it for 10, and then taking the full count of 5 to lower back down, engaging the muscles throughout the whole process. Okay, and then we're going to do them 4 times. All right, so first things first, go ahead and engage your abdominal wall, base the ribs, pubic bone, flexing your stomach. Okay, good. Once you've got that, we can lift up our feet and knees. Good. I didn't do a very good job of doing it slow. All right, poking that side ab, make sure it's engaged. The external oblique, the abs, keep base ribs, pubic bone. Good. Breathing, keep them up. Make sure you're using those muscles. Good, and let's slowly lower back down. Good, once you come down, make sure you've got your abdominal wall engaged. Bring them back up, nice and slow. Good. Poke, make sure you've got the muscles engaged. Your external oblique, the front, the rectus abdominis. Good. Good, and slowly lowering back down. Good, come on back up. Good, make sure abs, base ribs, pubic bone, flexing that stomach, external obliques. and slowly lowering. One more. Let's just make sure we've got our abdominals engaged. Yep. 1, 5. Good. External obliques, front abs, side abs. Keep breathing. And slowly lowering back down. Very nice. Whew. Well, we've got 2 sides, so let's go ahead and switch sides. Okay. Feet to the bottom of the mat as if we're in between 2 panes of glass. Left hand reaching forward, palm facing down. Right hand right in the floor in front of you, although it's, again, our diagnostic to make sure we're using the muscles we're wanting to use, okay? All right, so let's go ahead. Base ribs, pubic bone, flexing that stomach wall. Good. Once you've got that there, to the count of 5, let's bring ourselves up. Good. All right, poking, making sure, yep, I feel the muscles. I'm using them. Keep flexing, and slowly lowering back down. Keep flexing. Good. And all right, let's just make sure we're using our stomachs, bringing them back up again. All right, flexing, external obliques, front of the stomach. Good. And slowly lowering back down again. Keep flexing your stomach. Good. And bringing them back up again. Good. Holding it there. Let's double check. Flex the stomach. External obliques. Good. Good. And lowering to the count of 5. Good. And let's make sure our stomachs are engaged again before we go for our final one. Bringing them up. Good. External obliques, front of the stomach. Yep. Keep flexing that stomach, breathing. And then let's slowly lower to the count of 5. Whew, I felt the burn. Good job. All right, let's push ourselves up into our seats. And we're gonna sit up on our block for our external rotators in our shoulders. Good. First off, let's just get some rotation into the right shoulder, and then that left shoulder. Both shoulders opposite with a teeter-totter. Good. I recommend that every day for sure. Okay. As we're sitting up on our block, just make sure we don't abandon our core. This is helping to protect our low back while we're in a seated position. Okay? The back of the neck is long. Decompress that spine a bit. Shoulders gently retracted slightly. We're going to do more of that work. Okay, so we are going to be doing 4 repetitions of the external of the row, and then we're going to do 5 open and closes with our breath. Okay, I'll talk us through it. So engage the abdominal wall, back of the neck is long, shoulders slightly retracted. Let's go ahead and reach that bar. As we exhale, pull the bar in, retracting those shoulder blades, pulling them in and down, your elbows super glued to the side of your body, back of the neck long, chin slightly tucked, abs engaged, breathing. If you've got all that, then you can pop open the hands. Inhale, open. Keep that tension in that upper back. Exhale, close. Abs, upper back. Inhale, open. Elbows super glued to the sides. Exhale, close. Back of the neck stays long. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Keep all those places strong. Abs, upper back, neck and shoulders. Drawing them closed. Inhale, bring that bar back up. Let that bar go. Just some rotate. Let's just move it around a little bit. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and grab that bar. All right, as we exhale, pull that bar in, retract those shoulder blades in and down, elbows super glued to the sides, abdominals, back of the neck long, chin slightly tucked, breathing, pop open the hands. Okay, keep that strength in the upper back, in the abdominals, back of the neck long. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open, upper back, abs, back of the neck long, chin slightly tucked. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. One more time. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, bar comes back up. Exhale, pull the bar back in. Retract those shoulder blades. Back of the neck is long. Abs engaged. Good. Pop open the hands. Inhale, open. Good. Feel those shoulder blade muscles working really hard. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Abs engaged. Back of the neck long. Chin slightly tucked. Breathing. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, bringing the bar back up. Exhale, the bar back in. Retract those shoulder blades in and down. Back of the neck long, chin slightly tucked. Abs engaged, shoulder blades retracted, holding a pencil in between of them. Okay, good. Pop open the hands. This is the last round. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Back of the neck long, abs engaged, upper back muscles. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. I think one more. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. An optional extra one, if it is extra. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Bring the bar back up. Let the bar go. Shoulder shimmies and circles. Just loosening it up again. Good. All right, good. Let's find ourselves to our tables. So it's hands and knees, really. However, the knees, as before, hip width apart, stacked below the hips. Hands, shoulder width apart, stacked below your shoulders. And with a bend in the elbows, lower your body into your shoulders. Make a nice flat back. Okay, engage the abdominals enough that we're not collapsing. We've got a nice flat back. You know how we sometimes push our low backs into the floor? That's a good way to think of it. Good. All right, good. So we are going to do our modified side planks, hopefully for a minute. So first, let's walk up on the mat. So we're towards the top of the mat. Reset your table, make sure it's the way we like it. Good. Secure that left hand in its place. Nice big bend in that left elbow. Okay, we're gonna bring that right foot flat behind that left foot. Go ahead and engage your abdominal wall. Okay, base of the ribs, pubic bone, flexing that stomach. If you've got that, good. Then we're ready to go to the next level, which is bringing that right hand onto our tummy, opening up our body as if we're in between two panes of glass. Good. Flexing the stomach, base of the ribs, pubic bone. Good. If you've got that there, then you're ready to bring that right hand upwards. Good. Looking past that hand towards the ceiling, flexing that stomach, base of the ribs, pubic bone. Good. Let's go ahead. Lift that right foot up just a little bit. You're probably putting a lot of weight into that left thigh. Keep flexing your stomach. Keep flexing your stomach. Breathing. Okay, good. Keep breathing. Keep that left elbow with a bend in it. Good. Flexing the stomach, breathing. Don't let go of that stomach. Keep going. Hang in there. You can always come out early if it's a safety issue, of course. But if we're trying to challenge ourselves, we're going to try to make it to the end of this minute. Base the ribs, pubic bone, flexing the stomach, looking up at the ceiling, breathing. Good. And let's go ahead and lower that left foot. Good. And let's close it up very slowly. We're using muscles. We're not just collapsing out of something. Good. Back to our tables. Wonderful. Okay. Tuck those toes under. Lift those knees up. Pushing the hips to the back in our down dog. Relax your head. Relax the back of the legs while we're pushing our hips to the back of the room. Breathing. Don't worry if you don't have straight legs. If there's a bend in your knees, that's okay. Look at mine. Same thing. And this took a long time before I was even here. So yeah, don't think that we have to have the straight legs like, you know, the way all the super yoga stars do on covers of magazines. All right, let's come on back to our tables. All right. Now, tuck those toes under again. One more time, coming into our downward dog. Pushing the hips back. Relax the head, relax the back of the legs. Good. Now, let's bring ourselves into our standing forward fold. Good. Okay. So we're on our feet. Go ahead, use all the parts of our feet, not just the toes, not just the heels. The toes, the balls of the feet, the arches and the heels. Soft bends in the knees. Relax your legs. Relax your spine. Good. Bend those knees. Nice big macro bend in those knees. Let's find our chair pose. It's not about sticking out our caboose. It's also about engaging the abdominals. Okay, so base the ribs, pubic bone, flexing that stomach. Retract those shoulder blades. Back of the neck is long, chin tucked into the throat. Breathing. We're using thigh muscles, so there's heat and strength developing into our thighs as well. Breathing. Abs, 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 abs. Retract those shoulder blades. Chair pose. And slowly folding back forward. Good. Let's walk it back out to our downward dog. Back to our tables. And then let's lower ourselves in a reverse push-up onto our bellies. Don't collapse the core. Good. Forehead to the floor, cactus arms. Okay? All right. Go ahead and retract those shoulder blades in towards the spine. Pull them down your back. Holding it there. And relax. Retract those shoulder blades into the spine. Pull them down the back. Hold it there. And relax. Retracting the shoulder blades into the spine, down the back. Holding it there. Push into the hands. Keep that tension in the shoulder blades, retracting them in and down. Back of the neck is long, chin slightly tucked. We're looking at the mat pretty much below us. Keep retracting those shoulder blades. This is an upper back strengthener. Good. Slowly lowering back down. Good. All right. Okay, we're just going to reacquaint ourselves with our chest muscles. So go ahead and, with 20% of your strength, pull that right hand, right elbow into the floor. Try to make it so that you feel like you're using your right pec muscle. Good. And relax. Now the same with the left hand, left elbow. From the left pec muscle, pull it downwards. 20% of the strength. Pushing that elbow and hand into the floor. And relax. Good. Let's go ahead and put our hands underneath of our chest and shoulders. Retract those shoulder blades, engage our abdominal walls, pushing ourselves up into table. Widen the knees, toes together, child's pose. Good. Let's walk our hands and body off to the left side. And back to the center. And over to the right side. Come on back to the center. Good. Let's come on back up to table. Okay. Good. I'm just going to turn around so that we can do our other side here. Okay, so let's walk ourselves to the top of the mat. Knees hip width apart, hands shoulder width apart. Bends in the elbows so that we can lower our bodies. Good. All right. Let's secure that right hand in its place with a nice big bend in that right elbow because we're using muscles, not locking joints, okay? Back of the neck is long. Good. Let's take our left foot flat behind that right foot and engage our abdominal wall, okay? Base the ribs, pubic bone, moving towards each other, flexing that stomach. If you've got that, then you're ready for the next step, which is bringing that left hand up onto our tummies. Good. Keep flexing that stomach. That's the most important part of this. Good. Nice big bend in that right elbow. Okay. If you feel like you're ready to go further because our stomach is engaged, we'll bring that left hand towards the ceiling. Look past it. Good. Base the ribs, pubic bone, flexing the stomach. And if you want, you can put some body weight into that right thigh. Lift that left foot up just a little bit. Good. Keep flexing that stomach, looking at the ceiling. Keep that bend in that right elbow. We're holding this for a minute. Breathing. You can always come out early if you can't safely hold the pose. In fact, you should. Okay, base the ribs, pubic bone, flexing the stomach, breathing. Keep that bend in that right elbow. Breathing, flexing that stomach. If at any time you want to put that left foot down, go for it. Keep flexing the stomach. Bending that right elbow, breathing. Almost there. let's bring that left foot down and slowly bring ourselves back to our table pose without collapsing. Good. All right. I'm going to just turn back around here. All right. Back to our tables. Good. Let's tuck those toes under. Downward dog. Okay. Pushing your hips to the back of the room. From your hands, relax your head, relax the back of the legs. All right, let's go ahead and bring ourselves into our standing forward fold, where our feet are hip width apart. We're using all the parts of our feet, the toes, the arches, the heels, the balls, dangling our spine. All right, let's bend those knees. Nice big macro bend there. Go ahead and bring ourselves into our chair pose. Engage your abdominals, base ribs, pubic bone, flexing the stomach, shoulders retracted, back of the neck is long. Lots of strength coming from those thigh muscles. Feel the heat in the thighs. Breathing, focusing on your breath, retracting the shoulder blades, flexing the stomach, your thighs. Good, keep going. Good, and folding back forward. Good, let's walk it back out to our downward dog. And back to our tables. All right. With a nice reverse push-up, lowering ourselves back down to the mat with cactus arms. Okay. 90-degree angles. All right. Let's retract those shoulder blades in towards the spine, pull them down the back, and lift our elbows and hands equal heights. Take the bend out of the elbows. Feel those muscles in between the shoulder blades, holding up your arms and hands. Nice bend comes back into the elbows and lowering back down. Good. All right. Back of the neck stays long. Let's go ahead and lift up our head up above, looking directly below you. Chin tucked into the thyroid cartilage. Back of the neck is long. Feel the strength coming from underneath of that cartilage, the longus colli muscle. And slowly lower back down. Good. Okay, let's go ahead and engage our abdominal wall, base ribs, pubic bone, flexing the stomach, flexing the glutes, lifting up our feet, knees up off the floor. Keep flexing the stomach, base ribs, pubic bone, and the glutes, holding up those knees and feet. Good, breathing. And lower. Good, we're going to bring it all together. So, engage the abdominal wall. Retract those shoulder blades in and down. Feet, knees, elbows and hands, and our head. Come on up. Back of the neck stays long, chin tucked. Abs engaged. Glutes holding up the feet and knees. Shoulder blades retracted, holding up the elbows and hands. Good. Take the bends out of the elbows. Put the bends back in. Abs, abs, abs. And slowly lowering back down out of this. Good. All right. Bring our hands underneath of our shoulders, our chest. Pull those shoulder blades in and down. Engage your abdominal wall. Good. From your chest muscles, we're pushing in. Bring ourselves up to table. Widen the knees, toes together, child's pose. Let's walk our hands and body off to the left. Good. Let's walk our hands and body back to the center. And then over to the right. Okay, come on back to the center. Okay, come on back up to table. And let's find ourselves to our seats. Our legs out in front. Okay, we need that long spine. Back of the neck is long, chin slightly tucked. Retract those shoulder blades. Abs engaged. Hands can come on up. Retract those shoulder blades. I like my toes pointing towards my nose. It helps me. Good. Flexing that stomach. Base ribs, pubic bone. Back of the neck is long. All right. Your abs are going to be the tether that's going to let you lean back. We only want to lean back as far as we can go without our head starting to jump forward. Go ahead and use your abs. Abs, abs, abs. You'll probably come back onto your sacrum here. Back of the neck long. Retract those shoulder blades. Chin tucked. Abs, abs, abs. Base ribs, pubic bone. Flexing that stomach. Flex, flex, flex. Keep breathing. Good. Come on back up. All right. Good. Let's lower ourselves down onto our backs. Push that low back into the floor. Knees to chest, chin to chest. Okay. Rocking in circles. Bring our feet back down to the mat below the hips. We're going to use both of our blocks here for a nice double bridge. We've worked hard, so we deserve a little break, don't we? Okay, so feet and knees hip width apart. We're going to take that first block, slide it underneath of the sacrum and tailbone there. Find your sweet spot where you feel like you're challenging that small of the low back. The back of the neck is long. Good, let's grab our second block, sliding it underneath of our head, just above that bump or that ridge, so that we feel ourselves opening up that small of the low back. And then let's get some cactus arms here. Okay, this is a double bridge, surrendering, breathing, relaxing. If you've ever had a shoulder dislocation, you may not want to do cactus arms in this way without checking with a doctor first. All right, let's take our blocks out from underneath. Slowly peel that spine back down. Good, let's push our low back into the floor, knees to chest, chin to chest. One final big hug before we go for our most important pose of all, which is a Shavasana. Now we're just gonna go for 5 minutes. 5 minutes of defying the gravity to check devices, where we're gonna just exist in time and space without doing anything. Hands by our sides, palms facing up. right, let's add movement to the fingers and toes, wrists and ankles, elbows and knees. Okay, let's roll to the right side of our bodies. Pushing ourselves up into our seat. Cross-legged. Back of the neck is long, chin slightly tucked, crown reaching up, abs engaged enough to protect you. Left hand to our heart and our right hand on our left hand. May we understand the strength from within, inside of us. Namaste. All right, great. Hope that goes really well, and I shall see you guys on the next week. Bye.